Hey guys, and welcome back to Jamieology. My name is Jamie, and today we are going to be doing my March bullet journal spread, which I themed in a Polaroid theme, which turned out really cool, so I'm excited to show you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you get updates every time I post a new bullet journaling video or any of my other videos on Jamieology. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the supplies that I used for this journal was Papermate Inkjoy pens, some Artist Loft colored pencils, pencil, a ruler, and some washi tape. For the cover, I decided to keep it pretty simple, and I sketched a Polaroid picture shape onto the page, kind of in the center, and then I wrote March at the bottom with a shamrock because I wanted to incorporate something to do with St. Patrick's Day since that is happening this month. And then I wrote the calendar at the bottom of that picture just so I have a snapshot of what the month is going to look like. Inside the Polaroid picture, I sketched a Instax camera, and this doodle took quite a bit of tries to get it to look right, but I really enjoyed having to learn how to sketch something new, and it turned out really cute. I think one of the great things about bullet journaling is that you can learn how to sketch so many different things because you're doing a different theme every month unless you keep it the same, which is fine too, but I think it just helps you learn a new skill and learn how to draw so many different things and have that talent up your sleeve for later projects, so I think that's really cool. Again, I always use pencil first when I'm doing my bullet journal just because I know that I'm going to make mistakes when I first draw it, and drawing it in pencil means that I can fix it when I go back. So I always do it in pencil first, and then I go back through with pen and colored pencil to add color. So here I am outlining all of the shapes with black pen just because I think that makes the boundaries pop more. I did the title March and the shamrock with a dark green pen along with the shamrock in the photo. And then I also outlined the calendar letters and numbers with black. With the outline done, I went in with colored pencil. I decided to mainly use this light green color and a light pink for this bullet journal theme just because I really wanted it to be springy and bright, so I incorporated some other colors later on in the spread that were more pastel colors, but overall the main colors I used were this light pink and light green. Alright, so we are done with the cover page. Now it is time to do a quote page. So I decided I didn't want to leave the other side of my cover page blank, and I really like to incorporate quotes into my bullet journal because I think they are a constant reminder throughout the month of what you want to focus on that month. So to fit my Polaroid photography theme, I chose the quote, "Life is like photography, we develop from the negatives." So this quote really spoke to me just because I tend to focus a lot on the negatives, and turning it into something positive, such as growth, is really important to not seeing the negatives as detrimental to your journey, but as an aid to your journey, because the negatives also contribute to who we become as a person. So for the page, I did a couple different fonts with the quote, and then I drew a couple Polaroid pictures just around the quote to add some decoration as well. I colored the quote in with dark green for the larger letters and black for the smaller cursive letters, and I outlined the pictures in black as well, and then colored them with that same light green and light pink colors. To finish it, I added a few pieces of washi tape to look like it was holding the picture up and to add some decoration to our quote page. Alright, so now on to our monthly calendar. So I decided to go a little bit simpler than I normally do. I usually do these separate boxes for each day of the month, which you can see in my February bullet journal, but it's a lot easier and faster to just draw a grid calendar, which is what a lot of people do, and it looks just as good. You'll notice that sometimes I use rulers for straight lines and sometimes I don't, and that's just depending on whether or not I feel like using a ruler. Rulers do give you straighter lines, obviously, but bullet journals make it easy to draw straight lines just freehand because of the dots marking the squares. So you can choose whichever works best for you, and if you're more of a perfectionist, the ruler might be a good aid for you. I kept my fonts pretty simple with this theme, but I used a lot of straight line font because I wanted it to kind of match, like the square structure of Polaroid pictures. So that's the purpose behind that. So for this monthly spread, I just wrote March 2022 at the top, and then I made a goals section on the left side of the page. I then labeled the days at the top, and then I added some decoration to my bullet journal. So I did these little strings in between the goals section and the calendar and drew some little Polaroid pictures clipped onto those strings, and it turned out really cute. And then I decided to make the goals section look also like a Polaroid picture, so I just drew a box inside, leaving a little bit extra space at the bottom than at the top. Then I outlined the calendar in black, and I again like to outline everything in black just because I think it adds more definition to all of the lines than when I use color. I did, however, outline the title in that dark green again and the 2022 and goals in pink, and then I used this light green pen to do the days of the week, and I used pink for all of the numbers in the calendar. I also colored in the weekend days, so Sunday and Saturday, just because I wanted a reminder to take a break on the weekends, so I made it this light pink color. And then I colored in each of the Polaroids with a different pastel color, so I used some purple, blues, yellows, and pink, and also green for the goals section. I finished this page off with just a little bit of washi tape to add, again, some extra decoration. And that is our calendar page. Alright, so next up is our habit tracker. So habit trackers tend to be the most work to put together, but they are my favorite page to use throughout the month just because it reminds me of what my goals are and allows me to track my progress towards those goals. So I track a lot of things like working out, taking care of my skin, doing laundry because sometimes I procrastinate on that for way too long, cleaning the house, and also, lately I've been tracking YouTube videos and blogging. So you can track whatever works best for you, but you should always make sure that your goals are challenging, that they are something that you want to work for, not what somebody else wants you to work for, and make sure that it's serving your life in the best way possible. So for the title of my habit tracker page, I decided to use washi tape to kind of create an opening in the March letters so that I could do a cursive habit. I drew a Polaroid picture shape for each habit that I wanted to track. So on here I have a total of 18, and then I made a grid inside of that. So there will be a box for each day of the month. This is similar to what I do for a lot of my bullet journal spreads, but it changes it up by actually drawing out that grid, and it does take a lot more effort to put this together, and I can guarantee that your hand will be tired. And then I just colored in the days that weren't actually a part of the month. I outlined all of the Polaroid picture shapes with black, and I did the same dark green and pink for the heading. And then I really wanted this page to be super colorful just because it is more grid-like, so I used a bunch of different pastel colors to color in the outside of each Polaroid. And I used a bunch of different colors. And then I filled in each habit underneath the grid in the Polaroid pictures. So you can, again, choose whatever habits that you want to track for that month. Alright, Alright, so on to the mood tracker. And again, this is one of my favorite pages ever to draw each month because it's just super fun and you can put a lot of creativity into it. So I again decided to use Polaroid pictures as my mood tracker for each day. So I have a Polaroid picture on the page for each day of the month, and then I drew the same Instax camera doodle in the center just to add some contrast. So the smaller boxes around the page are for writing moods, so I know which color to color each picture during the month, depending on how I'm feeling that day. If you want to make it less complicated, again, you can just use less moods. I just like to use more because it gets more specific as to how I'm actually feeling that day, not just, oh, I was mostly happy or I was mostly okay. So it gets more specific as to what my actual mood was. For the moods this month, I went with, again, the pastel colors because I wanted it to be very spring feeling. I have to tell you, I could not be happier with how this page turned out. Like, I am just so happy. So on the other side of the page, I wrote line a day. So this is my line a day page. And basically what that means is you write one line for each day, I guess. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I just numbered down the side 1 through 31 and wrote line a day at the top. And I decided to focus on best things this month, so best things that happened that day. And then I just added a little bit of decoration with a Polaroid picture that said mems. Alright, so the final page of my bullet journal for March is a 31-day challenge focused on self-love. So this is something that I will have coming very soon for you guys on my blog and also on YouTube. But basically I am making a 31-day challenge that I hope you will follow along with me on. It will be full of different activities and tasks that focus on putting you first. So I hope you will stay tuned for that challenge. So I'm not going to let you know exactly what's on it right now, but if you want to follow along and include this in your bullet journal, all I did was draw 31 squares for March, and then I labeled the top 31-day challenge with self-love next to it. So essentially the squares will be filled in with the challenge for each day. So I just outlined the squares in black for now. And then I also added some Polaroid picture spaces on the side of this challenge. And that'll give you a little bit of a hint as to a few things that will be a part of this challenge. But basically they are just space holders for now. But I did color them in just to add some color to the page before we start the challenge. Here is a quick flip through of all of the pages that we went over and all the pages that are part of my March bullet journal spread. Alright guys, that is a wrap on my March 2022 bullet journal spread. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got some inspiration for your own bullet journal. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos coming up soon, and I'll see you next time.